Go to any other country in the world, you won't see something like that. So for us in America, it's very, very difficult for us to imagine these drastic events. If we would have said that 10 years ago, if I would have told you that, 10 years ago, terrorists would somehow attack America, then Islam would be the major enemy in the world, Islam would be misrepresented, people would lie about Islam, civil liberties would be eroded in this country, people would have laughed. If we would have said something would have happened to the World Trade, people would have just laughed. They would have said never. No one would dare do that. That would never happen. People would have thought that we were crazy. So we see that world events can change instantaneously, very quickly. And this is the tradition of the Imam. He said that before the coming of the Imam, the events will happen so fast. It is like the beads of the subh, when they're broken, the beads of the tasbih after salat, when the string is broken, you will see the events happening one after another, after another, after another. Just like when it falls on the ground. So fast that people would become amazed at each event that happens. In any case, he continued. The next tradition from the Imam is that there would be a comet or a huge star that would appear in the east. Its light would be as bright as the moon, and then its tail would eventually disappear. Another tradition from Imam Sadiq says that there would be fire in the atmosphere. For 3 to 7 consecutive days, we would see a fire in the east, and then this fire would go down. So imagine that, if you're talking about this type of world war or something that would happen, that something would happen in the Middle East where a fire would be there for 3 to 7 days. Arabs will become aimless people. No one will render them help, and Arabs will act on their own whims. Now this is a tradition of the Imam, so anybody Arab, don't get offended. So the tradition of the Imam is that in Akhir Zaman, a man would come. The specific tradition is that a man would come, and the Arabs would become aimless people, meaning they would not know where to go or what to do politically. They would have no idea. And a man will come that will raise black flags. And the Imam said that go, even if you have to travel through the snow to this man, crawl in the snow to reach him. Now, the interesting thing is that snow doesn't reach the Arabian Peninsula. I think the only place the snow, I think in that area, within that vicinity, one of the only places that it reaches is Iran. In any case, there's a tradition about the downfall of the Emperor of Iran, which you all know. There's another tradition that also the head of the state of Egypt would somehow be killed. This happened just a few years ago, 30, 40 years ago. This happened within the last 30, 40 years. So that there would be a devastation in Syria. The flags from the direction of Egypt will march to Syria, while from the direction of Khorasan, one flag will come. All three will claim the authority over Syria, and then they will fight each other, and Syria will be destroyed. Now, Syria at that time was a large region. It's not what we see Syria today. It was almost that entire region. It included Lebanon, Syria, that entire region there. Black flags will come from Khorasan. Khorasan was also a very large area. It's not what we know as Khorasan today. Now this reference is referencing Sayyid Hassani. Sayyid Hassani is a Sayyid. And the traditions don't tell us who he is specifically. Some of the traditions say that his name is Sayyid Husseini. Some of the traditions say that his name is Sayyid Hassani. Some of the traditions say he's a descendant of Imam Hussein. Some of the traditions say he's a descendant of Imam Hassan. So we don't exactly know who this particular person is. All we know that is this person will emerge from the area of Iran, and he will carry black flags after this great war is supposed to happen. A new canal will be dug from the river Euphrates. It will pass through Kufa, bringing prosperity. This has already happened. 60 people will claim prophethood. meaning claim the prophethood after our prophet. There are approximately, if you count the amount of people who have claimed to be prophets, meaning specifically prophets of Islam, it amounts to 58 people, from what I've researched. 58 people. There will be 12 Sayyid liars from the progeny of Abu Talib. There will be 12 people to claim either the imamat or be claimed to be either a vicegerent of the imam. Regarding this particular tradition, there are more than 12 people who have claimed to be the imam. But if you look historically, now the imam is talking about the people that gained prominence, or the people that you would notice. There's about 6 people who have been very, very popular in claiming their imamate and gained a large following. Some of those are people who started the Qadiani religion, some of those are people who started the Baha'i religion, etc., etc. Destruction of Baghdad. Severe earthquakes will take place in Baghdad, and people of Iraq will not know what to do. The people of Iraq will become hopeless. Basra will be destroyed, Kufa will be destroyed, and once the destruction of Iraq begins, it will not end. It will continue and continue and continue. There will be an epidemic through the world, and it will kill a large number of people. There will be a civil war in Iran. Now, the prophecies concerning Iran, there are 2 traditions concerning Iran. The first is that there will be 2 factions that fight in Iran, and there will be a fall of the Emperor of Iran. But there's a second tradition, that before the coming of the 12th Imam, there will be a civil war in Iran, another civil war in Iran, right before the coming of the Imam. Now, this is a very interesting tradition, that facial features of people will change. Now, go back to the Prophet's time. Now, think about what the Prophet is saying. He's saying facial features of people will change. Now, at that time, the only way that a person could change their facial features was they could put on earrings or a hat or something, but their features itself couldn't be changed. There's nothing that people could do 1400 years ago to physically change their features. But today, this has become a rampant thing, with people getting facelifts, and you guys all see these billboards. You've got Nip Tuck, and you've got all these shows. So remember, the sign is that these things would become rampant. You would be able to visually just see them in society. They would become the everyday culture of people. There would be a hand, or some type of shadow of a hand, that will appear near the sun. This could be some type of cloud, or this could be some type of smoke or something, but it will appear as a hand right by the sun. And the Imam has said that this would happen very closely before the time of the 12th Imam to come. There would be rains from the 16th of Jamadi al-Thani all the way to the 10th of Rajab. So we're talking about a long period of time. There would be continuous weeks of it raining and raining and raining and raining and raining. And by the way, the month of Rajab, if we want to be aware of the time of the 12th Imam and the events that would occur, the events would occur during the time of Rajab. Imam Ali has always said that during the time of Rajab we would see many wonders happening. Masajid will be decorated with gold plates, and Quran will be decorated with gold thread. 3 areas will sink. First in the west, then in the east, then in Arabia. Now, so the Prophet is saying that which includes a large portion of the world, but first there would be landslides or earthquakes in the west, then it would happen in the east, and then eventually it would happen in Arabia. Islam will grow weak, and it will exist in name only. Kufr will gain predominance over Islam. The Hashimi kingdom will cease to exist in the world. The last king will be a young boy, weak in will and inexperienced, and he will follow the advice of others. The last Hashimi kingdom right now is where? Does anybody know?